Hello there.
Well, hello, Ben.
How's it going?
Pretty good. My mic quality is superior to yours today.
It is, much to my chagrin. It really kills me as someone that cares a lot about audio quality. So I'm traveling right now, and I care enough about audio quality that I brought my microphone with me. It is sitting about 10 feet away. I did not remember to bring the adapter that goes from USB-A to USB-C. And I am staying on a remote island, and everything is closed, so I can't buy it locally. And Amazon's delivery times here are like a week or something.
Oh, gosh.
So I know. It's like Prime is not a thing. It's crazy how inconvenient that is. It's like crippling to my lifestyle.
How did people ever make it before same day or next day delivery existed?
It sucks. I've thought of like 4 things I wanted to buy that normally would just show up, and now I can't. Truly, I'm living in the Stone Ages right now.
Wow. All right. Well, I think we'll allow it. We'll accept it for one episode.
So, yes. Apologies to our listeners. I believe me, this hurts me worse than you.
Well, and I made a similar faux pas the last time I traveled. When I came back, I left my microphone at my parents' house. We had to scramble a little bit. It ended up coming like the day we were supposed to record, but so it happens.
Yeah, but you got it. But whatever. So I'm on the vineyard, which is great.
Your happy
it's
place.
Island off the coast. It's my happy place. It's off the coast of Massachusetts. It's lovely. It's like 100 square miles or so. Yeah, having a good time. I've been working half days, so I'm here with a friend of mine, and we've both been sort of working for like most of the morning. And then when the afternoon rolls around, we go off and like do an adventure, go on the hike or something, or go swimming. And then come back in the afternoon a little bit later and like sometimes start up work again, or sometimes just like, start cooking an elaborate dinner or something. But it's been really nice.
I just did the same exact thing last week up on the North Shore.
Really?
Yep. So basically worked in the morning and then took off on either a hike or a long bike ride in the afternoon. And I got to tell you, man, I could get used to that. It's like a way of life.
There are way worse lifestyles than this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm getting so much outside time, and man, it is so pleasant. I'll notice like I'm feeling like kind of down or cranky or whatever, and I'm like, I don't really want to go anywhere, but we do anyway. And then like after I've walked about a mile in the woods, I'm like, I feel 25% better, and then I feel like 30% better. Like it just keeps the outside and just moving around, and man, what a difference. So that's been quite lovely. So I have another week here, and I'm heading home. But yeah, it's been good.
Very cool. That's good.
I did some work this morning. We Mikey and I recorded the video of his gigantic pull request of Doom.
Ah, yes. Very cool. So is that going to get emailed out to Tuple users, customers?
It is, yep. So whenever we ship this release, which is looking like it's going to be in the next day or two, I'm going to do that as sort of that'll be our like release notes effectively. Or part of the release notes for the release. Yeah, but I think it turned out pretty well. It was interesting. It was kind of fun to like interview a person about a piece of work they've done and what was cool about it and why we did it the way we did it.
That's cool. I think users will really appreciate that kind of peek behind the curtain.
I think so too. I think this is one of the great things about selling to developers is like I can make interesting technical content and people will appreciate it. And it seems like the more we go into the weeds, the more people like it. Like every time I'm like, should I include this much detail about what this bug was? I always get people be like, oh, thanks for all that detail. They really dig it. Mm-hmm, so it's pretty cool to be able to lean into that.
Yeah. Yep. It's awesome, man.
We had a kind of convoluted recording setup to get this video out. It had some issues that I wanted to get tweaked. And I was like, I started to like load up like iMovie and like fiddle around myself. And I was like, no, Ben, stop. And I DM'd our old friend, Tom Obarski.
Hey, Tom. Yes.
Yeah. Good old Tom is still around and still an incredible editor. So I like shot him over the files and was like, hey, these things are bothering me. Can you please fix them up? And he's working on it right now.
That's awesome. Good to know. Good to know people.
It really is. I keep have this feeling like the more people you can like DM and like who will like can quickly help you is just like that's such a power. So useful.
Yeah, especially because for him it's probably super easy, and helping out a friend, like happy to do it. You would be pulling your hair out, taking 10 times as long. Yeah,
totally. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, do you want me to fix these other 3 things that I noticed?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that'd be great."
That's cool.
It's just working with professionals is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm glad I had that realization before I spent several hours like trying to fix these nitpicky things and not doing a very good job of it. And it's like, wait a minute, no, this should not be me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I take it you did a tuple session and recorded it like ScreenFlow or something?
Basically, yeah. It's like we did a tuple session and Mikey he shared his screen, but he recorded his side, and then I recorded my audio locally. And so we basically have like a video track that needs to get synced up with an audio track. There were a couple little wrinkles in there. There's like, oh, we have to like fix it this way. And so it got a little hard. It was nice. We used the as yet undeployed version of Tuple for it, and it worked quite well.
So very meta. Use the undeployed version to record a video about the undeployed version.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes. Meta dog food.
Yes, I like it.
Yeah. Looks like we're moving forward with hiring someone to pair with Joel part-time on working on the Rails backend. It's not a done deal yet, so I'm not going to say who this person is, but like someone who's kind of show adjacent. Longtime listeners of the show will sort of be aware of this entity. Going back to that old who can you DM and who's in your network thing. But basically we're shooting for like something like 10 hours a week of pairing, because man, just more pairing equals more good. And it's kind of like helping Joel get better at Rails and freeing me up from some PR reviews and shoring up sort of non-critical but useful and important, somewhat important parts of the app, basically.
Yeah.
Like it's not the client, it's not the the meat and potatoes, but there is a lot of stuff that happens in the back end that is kind of important to the business.
Mm-hmm. When you kind of started like searching for this person, is that how you phrased like the role? Is your job will be to pair with Joel, one of our engineers? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, there's obviously people who sit on different points in the spectrum on like loving to pair like a lot or a little bit. So, I mean, I take it that this person kind of naturally has to be the type of person that really thrives in a pairing type of environment and doesn't feel like completely wrung out from it, right?
Indeed, yeah. Yep, totally. We phrased it that way, and we also like interviewed that way. So for the people that we were considering working with, we decided to like do pairing sessions with them. Yeah, so it's like, okay, let's just see how this actually goes, which is this is how we always interview people at Thoughtbot, and I thought it was quite good. Like after you pass like I think a phone screen and like a sort of short technical interview, it was like, all right, come in for a whole day and try to pair with a couple people. And then, man, you find out a lot about someone, how they work and where they're at pretty fast when you sit next to them.
Right. Yeah. You can kind of get a high fidelity sense of like how their brain works when they're looking at a problem in front of you. And it's like, okay, we both don't know the answer to this. How are we going to tackle it? Right. And yeah, so you can learn a lot that way.
Yeah, totally. And it's also kind of cool because you can drive for them. It's like your setup. It's like and you have like the app all booted and running and it works and all this. So it's like, okay, don't worry about any of those lower level details. I'll be your hands. But you kind of navigate us through, tackling this problem. And I think it kind of helps sort of like hide some of those details that aren't as important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool.
But yeah, I'm excited for this. Like we're kind of beefing up our Rails expertise. Also like just investing in like Joel, expanding his abilities there. Like he there's no way you can pair with someone that much and not learn things. So like he'll get better at that, which is awesome. It's, more dog food time with Tuple. Just I'm pretty excited about this.
Could be a metric you track is how many hours does the Tuple team use Tuple every week, right?
I have considered it honestly, actually, yeah, as like making that a thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to use it more and more myself. We're using it right now, so
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely trending upward.
It's holding up pretty well, I will say.
It's doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of on light duty right now, so I don't have a ton of things to report. But I'm curious what's going on in your world. I saw you announce to the world.
Yeah, so SavvyCal is launched. This was a little bit of a different kind of launch sequence than I've normally done in the past. I have become a bit skeptical of kind of the big splash launch that generates a ton of buzz on like channels like Product Hunt and Hacker News. Like I've been down that road before, gotten, a big old wave of traffic. And if you make a big enough splash, you can drive, thousands or tens of thousands of hits to your website. But most of that generally is not super well qualified traffic. And so I was sort of, as I was like planning out what this launch is going to look like, sort of dreading like going through that process, at least right now at this stage. And so kind of gave myself permission to take it a little more low key, a little more gradual. So I talked about on the last episode, I think that I had soft launched and opened up. Basically, anyone who landed at the website saw a sign in with Google button or signed up with Google button right there. And within a couple of days of doing that, like it kind of started to leak out a bit. Like people started talking about it publicly, and I didn't want to lose control of the narrative. Like I wanted to be the one who kind of announced this to the world. And, you know, I kind of just decided after some reflection, hiking around, like, I think this is, you know, I'm ready to accelerate the learnings. There's people who can definitely get value out of it today. There are paying customers who are already getting value out of it. There's no reason not to let people in, aside from fear, you know, fear that like the product is just not, maybe it's just not good enough. Maybe just one more feature then it'll be good enough. And, you know, as we know, that's an easy pitfall to hold up launching, indefinitely if you're a perfectionist, right? So decided, you know,
we don't know any of those, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, not that I know personally, but so what I decided to do was craft an email and send it to basically everyone who was on my email list. I thought about like picking random segments of it and sending it to them, but I just kind of decided let's just open it up. Let's just send it to everybody and see what the response looks like. And I know I was going to learn a lot from that. And one of my big goals in this was to restock the learning pipeline and get more feedback, get more information coming my way to help kind of inform, you know, where I should be spending my time and on the product front, the marketing front, the positioning front, all of that. Yeah. So I sent that on, let's see, it was a week ago Friday, and the response was, I'm pretty happy with how it went.
How many people did it go out to?
About 1,100.
Okay.
Yep. So off of that, kind of round numbers, like 200 and something folks who went through the process, created an account, looked around at it, and then so far I am sitting around just over $400 MRR. So we're, you know, out of the gate. We're off to the races. It feels good to have a little pad of MRR to grow off of.
Nice. So 30 something paid users, somewhere in there.
Yep.
Nice. And are you starting to get that feedback that you were looking for?
Yeah, so it is definitely restocked for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, which is exactly what I wanted.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, not too much, and like I think honestly, like 200 signups is not a ton. Like I maybe back in the day would have been aiming for like I want several thousand signups off of this launch, but you know, it's like realistically, I really only want people who are seriously considering using the tool and not just looking around. I think most of the people who made it through and are in my, you know, in the pipeline communicating with me and such are actually like close to being qualified potential customers, if not already customers. So I think mission accomplished on that. You know, there will be a time perhaps to work some of those channels that lead to like broader awareness, but lower quality traffic. Like there may be a time to do a product hunt launch, but I think I just don't feel the urge to do it right now. And I certainly have a lot of, you know, information to go off of and like tons of features that I know I need to add. And it's just a matter of like prioritizing them and stuff. So
yeah, what's the top of the list? What are people most screaming for?
It's like Zapier integration is probably the top one, which, you know, it's a good sign to me because I want people who understand kind of more sophisticated things you can do around scheduling. And those people tend to want integrations. They want Zapier. They want to be able to really embed this into their workflow. So that's right up there. Other calendar integrations. I mean, Outlook is kind of the big number two, or you could look at it as the number one in certain spaces. I think more traditional companies tend to use Outlook and more startup-y companies tend to use G Suite.
Outlook. You have a lot of people. They want Outlook integration?
Yeah, like as they're using, you know, the Microsoft suite for their calendaring and email and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Interesting. And so you would have like a button in Outlook or something to send a
No. Like, well, that's another like plugin for that would be a different thing. But this is just like people who are using Outlook Calendar, or I think it's called Outlook Calendar. It's through the Microsoft 365, like their hosted SaaS, like email, calendar, contacts kind of suite. So your more traditional companies are using, or a lot of them are on the Microsoft stack and using that for hosting their calendar. So they want to be able to link their work calendars to it.
Oh,
Does that make
I
sense?
see. Because yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because you just integrate with Google Calendar
With
right
Google
now.
Calendar. Yeah.
I see. So okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want those companies as customers?
Well, so there's two reasons to do it. One would be, to open up people who aren't using Google Calendar or just kind of can't get use of the product. So it's widening the number of people who can make use of it, and also the overlay feature. So people who send a link to someone else and they're using Outlook as their calendar, I want to be able to like display their events for them. That's a big selling point. So it's for my customers, schedulers too, for their benefit.
Yeah. Is there like an OAuth thing for
Yep.
Outlook Calendar?
Yep.
Cool.
And it seems like a decently well documented API, I think. So I've done a little bit of preliminary sketching of what that would look like, and it's a big feature, but it's not like working with a SOAP API or something,
Yes.
So
it's not like working at a soap factory.
Yeah.
Doing real work.
Right.
Cool. So Zapier and Outlook.
There are some more nuanced ones that are kind of like less directly requested, but are kind of starting to coalesce. And so I think I'll talk more about those as they kind of start to form. But it's like some of the things I've already had kind of on the list. Like I think workflowy related things like being able to set up a link so that someone can request a time and you have to approve it before it gets officially put on the calendar, I think is going to be a pretty important thing. People want to be able to have like their default link that they share, but they want a number of folks have mentioned that they kind of want to be able to confidently share that without and still be able to control who ultimately makes it onto their calendar. And so adding kind of an extra layer of approval seems like it could be a really interesting differentiating feature to build in the near term. And a handful of other ones like similar to that are kind of starting to come together. They're still a little fuzzy, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That last one seems kind of funny. It's like, it almost feels like you've like it misses the point in a way. Where it's like, I'm sending you this link, but then when you like ask for a time, I'm going to like have to then confirm and then add it to my calendar or something. It's like,
there are some people who definitely want to be pretty available for like pretty important calls. And so they want to be able to freely share things, but share their links, but like also risk like getting completely overwhelmed with too many meetings. It's like you either tightly control where you share your link or you be more free with sharing your link, but then you want a little extra protection.
Okay, cool. So are you like pretty heads down, like sprinting towards making these features, or like is there other stuff that's pulling your attention away? Are you distracted by other things?
One thing I'm doing, I thought about what's my next stab at trying to manage my time well, because obviously I feel like I've got a lot of product things to do and I could easily spend the next month just doing product exclusively. But I also want to keep nudging the ball forward on kind of the marketing front and working towards like building up some flywheels and stuff. So I'm going to start tracking my time, and I want to target like maybe 3/4 product, 1/4 marketing tasks. I'm including in that like things that will kind of help nudge people along in the funnel too. Flesh out more onboarding emails at the right intervals and instrumenting different points of activation that I can key off of to kind of catch people at the right time, and like just putting effort into watching how people typically make it through the activation flow. Writing some KB docs and presenting them at the right point so that people, will get the information they need at the right time and stuff like that.
It seemed like your pricing was, it didn't seem like there was like a team plan, like a buy this for my company option.
Well,
is that accurate?
And that's another kind of big chunk that I'm going to start chipping away at, is like gradually opening up team functionality. I mean, there's a bunch of just kind of permissions logic alone, like to plow through to try to get that set up. But yeah, that's another big one. Because right now you basically create links under your own personal like scope. So you have your own, URL, your Ben Orenstein URL. But if you want a tuple one, then you need to be able to create a kind of a team scope and then add other people to it. And then you can, have billing per seat for each member of your team and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Yes. I do recommend per seat pricing in your life.
Yes, for sure.
When possible.
For sure. Yeah. So right now, I mean, that's how the pricing is established. It's like $12 per user per month, but currently in the self-service mode, you can only like create, an account for your own user right now. So
we started off in that mode as well, if I remember correctly. I remember in the early days, we were thinking like, oh yes, freelancers. And like, we were always just imagining like individual humans using the app. And then like somehow it didn't click for us. Like, wait a second, teams of developers are larger and have better credit cards.
Yep.
Yeah. It took us a little while to realize that, I think.
Tracking my time. I mean, I think that'll kind of force me to invest in areas that I still want to move forward and prevent, like not give me an excuse to say like, well, I've just got so much product work. I just can't find the time to do it. It's like, I'm going to force myself, to do that.
So your plate is full.
My plate is full. Yeah. I'm giving thought to like, when is the right time to start bringing in some outside help in some of these areas. I want to be sure that I can start to grow this thing in a predictable way, somewhat predictable way, at least linearly, so that I can kind of napkin model out like, all right, here's how much cash I have on hand. Here's how much it'll cost to hire someone to help in this area. Here's, and so at least do some napkin modeling of when the right time to pull the trigger on that is.
Yeah. How do you think of like the tiny seed dollars that are in the bank for that? Like, do you think like spend it down to zero, trying to make it work? Or like, yeah, how are you thinking of them?
I'm looking at it as liftoff fuel right now. It's like I'm willing to burn through all that fuel, but I need to get liftoff at the end of that. You know what I mean? Or else, I mean, practically speaking, then I just start self-funding, which I would rather not do if I don't have to. By the time that piggy bank is run dry, I should have some flywheels going that are offsetting it.
Gotcha. Yeah, but it does seem like an interesting question of like how aggressive to be with that. Like, do you want to try to spend it all in 3 months or like 12 months?
Right. You can expect to get ROI. I'm sure I could deploy some of that money, tomorrow to produce some pretty quick results, probably, perhaps. And so then, it's like gaining enough certainty to know that like, all right, so if I put $20,000 into this thing, will it return that and more within enough time where it makes sense to do that? And obviously I want to move as fast as possible, but I also know that you can't just expect ROI overnight. So
okay, many decisions. I'm not sure we have a pour money in, other money comes out model yet.
Yeah. I mean, most things like to the fundamentals of like, well, you got to bring qualified traffic to the website, and then a certain percentage of those you will convert, and then a certain percentage of those will make to the next stage of the funnel where they create an account, and then a percentage of those you convert to customer, and that hopefully over time becomes a somewhat predictable funnel that then you can start to optimize at different stages. But obviously, I'm not there yet on knowing what that funnel looks like, so it's hard to pour dollars into something without knowing how those numbers will shape up.
Totally. And yeah, the numbers are small at this point. So it would be hard to like, oh, like my conversion rate is this. It's like, well,
right.
Yeah, but.
Right. It's all in the statistical insignificant range at the moment.
Where do you think the most valuable like area to bring on help would be for you?
Well, this is a good like thing I want to brainstorm with you a little bit, actually, because I can think of this as through two different lenses. Typically what developer solo founders eventually do is kind of fire themselves from active product development role and become kind of the CEO, the head of the business side of things. And if they're going to do an IC type of role, they usually end up focusing on kind of marketing stuff or running ads or whatever they need to do on the growth side as opposed to the product side. That's kind of typically, when I look around at what other founders have done, that's typically what people end up doing, But on the other hand, I feel like, I'm a generalist in many respects, but I feel like the area where I can have the most impact is on product and leading product efforts and building stuff. So like, is it better to try to get help with starting some marketing engines, running some experiments, some traction experiments, see what channels are going to work well, and then further investing in those. Like, is it better for me to hire in those areas to run those experiments and start to figure that stuff out, or should I be trying to get development help and sub out some of the product stuff and focus my energy on the growth and the marketing stuff? I don't know if you have
Want me to weigh in?
Yeah, weigh in, please.
I think you're so good at the product and development stuff that it wouldn't make sense to take you out of it at this phase. Like if you were 10 people, maybe at that point it's like, okay, Derek has to be the CEO now and focus on these like higher things. But assuming your team is going to be like 2 people or like 1.5 people or whatever it's going to be, I don't think you can find someone who's better at that product development design generalist role than you. But I bet you could find somebody who's better at marketing. Or it's certainly possible. It seems way more likely to me. I think I would want to see you get help there. And also, I just have I should have asked you before offering advice.
No, I wanted.
My hunch would be like, I guess one of my questions would have been like, does it excite you, the idea of dropping the development and handing it to someone else and going and focusing on the marketing?
Yeah.
Or would you rather like know that marketing's handled and get to focus on the product?
Yeah. If I could know that, like, I could find a good, like, somewhat generalist marketer, content writer, something in that role who's really, really good at kind of being a self-starter and self-directed on their work, and they come up with like good ideas and they contribute to kind of the strategy and stuff, then that would be, I think, the ideal scenario for me. I'm both excited about like the prospect of being like having an active role in product for the long term in this business, but also what equally excites me is just the idea of turning this into a real functioning, sustaining business. And so part of me is like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen and do it in a way that's optimal, like I want to get there obviously as quickly as possible. And so there may come a point where me primarily spending my time on the product side is just kind of holding the business back. Maybe I'm doing the work that I enjoy, but the business is not growing at an optimal pace because I'm too skewed in my attention or something like that. So that's what I want to keep one side of my mind on, is that like I need to make sure that I don't become too focused on one area and let the business overall suffer for that,
Totally. My hunch is you're still a bit of a ways from that today. It's still so important that the product be great. And I don't think anyone other than the founder can really do that right now. It's just too early. There's too many big decisions to make and like flashes of insight that you need to have in the shower or something like that. I don't think you could bring in somebody outside and be like, all right, it's going. You just keep it rolling. And I think that will actually probably be true on the marketing side too. Like I think even if you find a great marketing person, it's still going to require a lot of your creativity and input and feedback to make it, SavvyCal like, to make it feel coherent and good and all that. But I think you have a better shot of getting like bringing that side in and having it work.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So we'll see. More to come on when I ultimately pull the trigger on looking for someone to help. But I know they're going to have to be a decently generalist type of person. I feel like, especially at this stage, kind of looking for a unicorn.
Yeah. I don't know how to hire this kind of person.
Yeah.
I haven't had to do it yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seems a bit tricky. I know there are software companies, and these software companies do marketing, and they market to developers. But I also just have this like suspicion, where there's a voice in my head which is like, no one knows how to like. You can actually make something to market to developers unless you're like a developer yourself, probably, right? Kind of, maybe. I don't know. That's probably not true, but also maybe it's a little true.
Well, yeah, especially for you. I mean, marketing to developers, like you're either marketing to like the decision maker, who's like, or like a CTO or something, or a CIO, or you're like working your ground up, your grassroots adoption, which is like win hearts and minds of developers and let them use it, and then gradually upgrade into.
I just realized I flipped context into marketing to developers, but that's not really your audience.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry. I moved into the tuple world.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Actually, that's kind of an interesting question, I suppose, which is like, is there an archetype that you've seen of the people that are paying so far?
I think it's a little early to make generalizations about that. It's definitely like leaders, professionals, founders. That's kind of predominantly who I have paying right now. and remains to be seen if it'll stay that way or if there will kind of, I mean, especially once teams become a thing, and that I am motivated to get that started sooner rather than later, so that, you know, it's more revenue and it's more interesting. That's where things get really interesting. I should have mentioned also on like the near term roadmap stuff is like group scheduling, and there's a bunch of different types of group scheduling. There's like collective ones where it's like, we know these 3 people all need to be present at this meeting in addition to the person who's scheduling, and so like take all their availabilities and combine them and figure out when they're all available. And then there's, you know, there's ones where like even more broadly where we don't know everyone's availability and we're trying to all figure out a time to meet, and a lot of times that's accomplished through like polls or something. So, and then there's just being able to add additional people onto a meeting once 2 people have figured out this is when we're going to meet. Let's invite some additional people. That's another, you know, kind of form of group scheduling. So a bunch of different areas to flesh out in that regard too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good software takes a long time.
It does.
There's a lot to it.
There's a lot there. Yep.
Yeah. How do you feel?
I feel good. I mean, it's like, it can feel a little bit overwhelming, and so I've been actually trying to combat the overwhelm a little bit with, you know, taking a step back and like trying to plan. I kind of trying to like order of priorities for the next, you know, week or 2 weeks, and that's one way I can kind of combat overwhelm, you know. And aside from a little bit of overwhelm, like I feel pretty positive about, you know, about how the launch went, and it feels good to have 10x'd my revenue.
Nice.
And yeah, so I'm in a good headspace. Another tool thing that I've been playing with. So we talked a little bit about Roam last time, and man, I just couldn't bring myself to make it through their UI. It's so bad.
Yeah.
But I saw somebody mention this other tool. It's called Obsidian.md. It's like and it has Roam like capabilities, like the easy double bracket backlinking thing, but it's just markdown files. So it's a local client you install, and then you just point it at a folder, and it can generate the graph, and you can do tagging, and you can filter on tags and stuff like that. So I've been playing with that, and as you know, one of my ways of kind of organizing my information, I've been dumping like different feature requests that I've gotten or feature ideas that I've come up with, and then I've put my user interviews in here and established links to things so that I can kind of reason about like what things have people mentioned they need, and where are the connections between them. And you know, it's helping me like kind of coalesce like, okay, I think these people have asked for kind of the same functionality using much different verbiage, but they're kind of pointing at the same thing. And so being able to organize things in this way is kind of helping me work through that. So
cool. Nice. Yeah. Obsidian is interesting. I like the idea of like local flat files. That's pretty cool. Like I'm building this like graph up in Roam, but like, can I export this into like something I can take with me if I want to?
Portability is a big plus for me.
Yeah. Also the Obsidian, I think is interesting. I believe it's a forked version of VS Code or something.
Is it?
Does this ring a bell for you? It's some like open source IDE. And I believe they just forked it and said, no, it's a notes tool, which I actually think is like really clever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it feels like electronic, you know, like kind of has that feel. And it's not super well polished. It's decently good on polish, I would say. Like it's not Roam in terms of UX.
Yeah. So I looked at this and I was like, it looks a bit nicer, but it didn't look like, okay, this is like Roam, but beautiful. It was like, okay, this is some other different nerds made this, and it still looks kind of like a nerd tool. I like considered it, like I kind of thought about jumping ship because, like I said, there are some stuff I like about it. But
it's like I want IA Writer, but with this kind of linking, graphing functionality built in, which is really what I want.
Yeah, and local Markdown docs. Yeah. That I can sync and save and search for, like with the grep and whatnot. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Question on organizations is something I was trying to figure out today, actually, and maybe you'll have insights based on how you're using Roam. But like, is Roam literally just a collection of notes that are linked in a graph, or do you put things into folders? Like, do you have any kind of foldering notion in there, or?
I don't think there is any foldering notion as far as I know. But I could be wrong. And because they do have this idea of like there's like nodes where it's like a page is a collection of nodes. And you can like have nodes nested onto other nodes. So maybe there is some sort of nesting structure that I don't quite know how to navigate or I'm aware of. My model for it is just a graph of note pages.
Yeah. So I started organizing my stuff. I like created, SavvyCal folder. And then I have a folder for like feature stuff. And each one is a separate document. And then I have my kind of users and each person has a file. But then like I've been trying to actually, as I'm writing or as I'm like parsing through some of my notes, I'm like, okay, I need to establish a link here to a new feature. And when I do that, it just kind of like dumps it in the root when it creates a new file. And then I can like move that, but it feels like maybe I shouldn't even worry about doing this. Maybe I should just use tags. Like if this is a user file, just tag it as user, and then I can just use it as tag driven. Everything's just kind of in a big bucket. I don't know.
I've been liking the non-hierarchical nature personally because it gets rid of that step of like decide where it goes, organize, fiddle around. It's just like there's a new page. It's called this. And like, who cares? It's connected to some things, but it's not nested under specific things. And I don't need to decide where it lives. Everything just lives in one place.
And that is that feels sort of magical as long as it's not completely unwieldy or impossible to find things. It sounds kind of magical to not have to make that decision. And then Obsidian does have like the like Command P and Command O, like for like bringing up a little finder bar that and you can just quickly search stuff. So I think that should be probably good enough,
Yeah. There's something about this idea. I have to go back to it of like fork an IDE, and use it to make a different tool that's not just like code editing, but is something else. I think that's really clever. I think there's like probably some really interesting things you could build with that approach.
Yeah, I mean the amount of open source like. How many thousands and thousands of man hours have gone into like building these things, and it's open source. So you can do that. You can fork it and stand on those shoulders of giants. It's pretty cool.
Totally. Yeah. So props to them. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like you can make a better looking version of this.
Yeah.
Charge $15 a month for that, maybe.
Hey.
You could just fork this one. Immediately just start doing some design work on it.
Yeah. Look, man, I don't need any more shiny objects, all right? I got
look how shiny it is.
Got enough things on my plate.
I know. I just want to only use software that you design.
Oh, that's high praise. Thank you.
Sure. All right, should we wrap up?
Yeah, let's wrap it.
Cool. Notes for the show.
Notes for the show can be found at artofproductpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.